And we will introduce ourselves to you.
Elizabeth Moss.
Mark Ballard.
Arlene Chunny. Is your green light on? That's good.
I'm saying.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yes. After presentations by the applicant, members of the public will allow 2 opportunities to speak on agenda items. The chair will ask if anyone from the public has questions of the applicant to understand the project. After questions are closed, the chair will ask if anyone from the public has comments. Members of the public will have up to 3 minutes per person to comment. Comments should be limited to the exterior design of the building and site. Comments will not be allowed as to the interior design or use of the project. Thank you. And the first on our agenda is Ballard's Inn Realty, Plat 7, Lot 23, fire number 42 Water Street, and to add a seasonal outdoor canopy in place of umbrellas. You want to talk to us about that?
Absolutely. So this,
Identify yourself.
sure, my name is Stephen Philippi and I'm the owner of Ballard's Inn Realty LLC. We come before you tonight because on our back patio, there's a picture. We have a lot of umbrellas. And this is it. This is our back. And what we want to do is we want to remove the umbrellas and we want to put a canopy on the back instead of the umbrellas. And that there's several images that were drawn up in the very simple presentation. You know, Ballard's is not a historic building. It was built in 1987. The new proposed canopy would be on the beach side, and you cannot see it from town. The only where you can see it is from the beach or the water. That's correct. The canopy has been strategically designed so it's visible only from the beach and not from town.
What's the canopy made out of?
It's umbrella fabric.
And it'd be removed during the winter?
Yes, only seasonal from May to September.
It appears to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, it looks like it's part of it is pitched back towards the building.
Correct. So right now,
How do you deal with that rain?
yeah, so there's a pergola right now that's
Yeah.
there that you guys approved. And so this canopy is just gonna go over the pergola and it's gonna send out towards the patio. And then it's pitched, so in case it rains, the water goes on the backside and it goes on the front side. So it doesn't
It's gonna come
sit.
down on the terrace.
There's gutters there that's gonna run into it.
It'll go into a gutter.
Yeah, going to gutter.
Is this on a frame that will be stationary?
It's on a frame that would be stationary and it will come out from the pergola. So it'll be attached to the pergola
Mhm.
and that frame will come in.
But the frame will be there like, lots of places,
Yeah,
all year.
Yep, we could remove it in the winter. Yeah,
And what's the relationship to the frame to the existing pergola?
the frame's gonna be built on the pergola.
Because your renderings don't show that relationship clearly. So
Yeah.
it's just a,
Sure.
so.
If you look
what I'm
right
looking
here,
At now, is this the pergola? And this
Yes.
Is that the pergola?
Yeah.
Or is that the frame?
that's an existing pergola.
Okay.
So that's gonna act as a structural support for the canopy.
One of the things on our agenda, Steve, is we've been asked by planning and the town council to review an ordinance about tents.
Sure.
And this kind of looks like a tent.
Okay,
Because it's not the kind of thing that you kind of crank out like an awning. It's
sure,
more of a tent.
sure.
So my inclination is is to table this for a month or two until the council comes up with their definition of tent. And we can decide what to do.
So,
Because you know,
yeah, so I don't think you can do that, right? I think I have a right to be here and to get decided on. You can't table someone or deny someone based on something in the future that may happen.
well, it's,
And
right.
it's not, and it's.
It's the next thing on the agenda. I mean,
Yeah,
two
I
things.
know, but if that could happen in a month, that could happen in 2 months. This is, it's not a big project in terms of construction, but in terms of timeliness, it needs to get installed in March. And I need to go to CRMC after this. So, and it has to get ordered, which takes about 3 months to get. So to put the project off based on something that may or may not happen, because you don't know if the ordinance will even get approved, I don't think that's a viable, approach. I have a right to be here under the current ordinance. And it's there, this has no impact. This is not a tent. We all know what the impact was of this ordinance. It's on a tent. This is not a tent. This is a canopy going off an existing pergola.
Well, it's also could be a tent because,
Mark,
hi, Mark.
I can catch you up.
I think though, what may or may not happen, how many of these do we have currently in town and how many have we approved?
The Spring House has one.
No, I'm asking the
Okay,
board.
sure.
Well, if you prepared for that, fine.
Yeah, yeah, I know the Spring House one, has one exactly like this. The Orr has one exactly like this. Deadeye Dix has one exactly like this.
What's the third one?
Jimmy has one.
I'm sorry, Deadeye Dix. Bimmy has one. And these aren't, as you know, these aren't the controversial things that propose, which may or may not happen. Line item is on your agenda for. So, I asked to be heard tonight, and I asked this is perfectly aligned and actually enhances the aesthetic appeal of Ballards, and it actually enhances the historical integrity of the viewpoint. And it doesn't even have anything to do with, from looking from town.
Any other comments? Mark, do you want to catch up on this? This is a large canopy on the back of Ballards.
This is the current state right here in our hours, and this is the current,
pitch really covers a lot of the pitch, it covers a lot of the. Just for clarification. 'cause
Absolutely.
I find some of your renderings a little confusing based on
Sure.
the photo. So, with the sun cover,
Yeah,
and with the pitch, so it's gonna be a raised pitch. So as you said, it sheds water, in multiple directions. So at the high point of the pitch, it's gonna really cover part of the roof. Is that correct? Because that's what one of your renderings shows.
yeah, so it's right here, right? It's gonna come, is this what you're talking about? And this is
Yeah,
gonna
well, I'm
back-
talking about this view when you're,
Yeah, so you're talking.
Can you
about this
use,
pitch right here.
can we, yeah.
Talking about this pitch right here?
yeah, I mean, that pitch, so
It will pitch back into the gutter, that's right.
exactly, so depending on, I mean, sure, you're probably on the water, at various viewpoints, you're,
So the pergola's lost, right? It's underneath.
it's underneath.
Actually, we're gonna paint it white, that's our plan, and then it's gonna be underneath it, and it's just gonna look, more of like that ocean beachy feel that we're known for.
They're just gonna block those windows.
Oh, actually, they're doors, right? They're doors.
the doors.
Yeah, that you guys actually approved and they're open up. And so that's one of our concerns that we'll have to deal with is that there might not be as much natural light that goes into the building as of this. But right now, there are already umbrellas there, so we'll have to see, but I don't think it'll be that impactful. I think it's worth it.
Any other comments?
Are the umbrellas, when was this picture taken?
A month ago?
Asking you, I don't know.
Yeah. 6 weeks, the day before I submitted the application, or maybe the morning, August 22nd.
I mean, it's certainly a reversible treatment because there's an existing pergola that you're using. So you're using and maintaining an existing structure. And you're proposing to put a seasonal shade
That's it.
over it. which-
Well, it goes way beyond it.
Agreed,
Yeah.
but in concept, I mean, it's, I mean, way beyond, but in the area that the existing umbrellaed area is. I
But it
mean,
does
Correct.
detract from the architectural features
Agreed.
of the building.
agreed, yeah.
What does, the umbrellas or the umbrellas detract from the architectural? Yeah.
Yeah, but the pitch, I mean, it's just gives the feeling of a
Well,
large,
It hides the windows or doors, whatever. you
Yeah.
call it,
yeah, it
Which is an
cuts,
architectural
cuts
feature
into
of
the roof
building.
line.
Yeah, but it's not a historic building, you
Right.
know? It's not really a historic
It's
building.
gonna be someday.
Well, maybe someday, but it's not now.
hope.
And there has to be a big enough pitch underneath there. So it's not, so it's kind of open air.
I
you
don't
know,
get your point, it's not a historic building. So,
It's not a historic building, like suppose you have like the National, or you have like, it's not on the historic register, like I was here in front of the Manasees before, and I had to go in front of the Preservation Society and so forth. So,
why would you come at all?
because I have to,
Yeah.
yeah,
And why they have to?
because it's in the HDZ zone, but it's still not a historic building.
Yeah.
Well, Steve, all due respect, I don't think that's a good argument. I don't think it's a good argument when people on this board say it's a new building. Therefore, the same rules shouldn't apply. I think it's an irrelevancy.
Okay, that's fine.
That's my opinion. But I'm not sure you're seeing the doors anymore with the mass of umbrellas than you would with the, I mean, it does get a little crowded down there in the summer. And this would be coming in the winter, you said.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, we don't have any purview over color, but blue is your color scheme and that's what you're going to stick with.
I think so. I mean, what do you, I mean, I'll be open, you know, obviously I know it's not relevant to the approval, but I mean, I think it kind of goes together with some of the other blue awnings that are on the property, you know? So we were thinking white maybe? What, blue? So what, I think blue maybe? It's very nautical.
So does anybody want to make a motion, yay or nay?
I mean, I'm not opposed to the concept. I just visually with this rendering, I can't quite, maybe Mark. But it's-
I agree with you. But you could take the pergola out and have the awning just slope away from the building.
No, because that's a structural support, right?
Well, you'd have to have a different form of structural support.
Yeah, so then I guess you'd have to redesign it, but
Yeah.
if the structural support's already there, you know, and it provides it, I don't know why, you know.
How
it's
is it a
great, too.
structural support? Because the tent is higher than the pergola. It comes much further up the roof.
So they're building their metal supports on top of the pergola.
Oh, so, oh,
Yes.
okay.
That's- Yeah. That pergola has hurricane tie downs and so forth. It's like, it's perfect for the support, and this is kind of built to incorporate the whole thing in.
Speaking of the H word, what would you do with this if a hurricane was, or this weather? You know,
Yeah, it takes 24-hour notice to take it down.
24 hours?
Yeah, to take 24 hours, yeah, so we can take it down.
Who does the work?
It does, we need a day notice to take it down, yeah.
In-house,
What?
in-house employees?
Yeah, we can do in-house, yeah.
It's like an awfully long time.
Well, the umbrellas, you just go,
No, I'm thinking, I've been downtown when a storm has been coming in. things. I've seen the audience come down a lot faster.
Yeah, I stand corrected. I think you're probably right. We could definitely do it faster. I think like if we give a day's notice, we could do it.
That's 24 hours.
Yeah, not 24 hours to do it.
I don't really have an issue one way or the other.
Lot greener. This surface right here.
Yeah. And we actually, one of the umbrellas actually blew down this summer and hit someone on top of someone.
Yeah, some umbrella is always getting loose.
And how does the front end get tied down? Because it seems like,
Probably metal rods.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Because the structure is really, maybe on a third of it or,
What part does CRMC have to approve?
I have to get approval from you first, and then I have to get approval from you first, and then I have to go to CRMC. And that takes anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks.
Was that because of the posts that come down on the ends?
Nope, so anything that you do in the coastal feature, actually, this is not, the coastal feature is actually the seawall, but it's
I
200
like
feet from the
reusing an
coastal.
existing structure.
Oh,
feature.
okay.
So I have to get approval from there. I don't think there should be any issue. It's not, it's on the cement, you know, but they want to look at everything.
I'm just held up on this pitch issue. I like the idea that you want to reuse the existing structure. I
Sure.
think that's sensible. Is this rendering based in a factual math calculation?
Yes, it is. Good question. So it is to get the right pitch, right? And he described it to me. You need the right pitch. It has to be on a pitch the whole time,
Right.
right? So the span of it needs, that's the best way you could put it, because it's large and there needs to be a pitch the whole
How long is it?
time. I can get that.
And where does the
It
gutter?
depends which
approach
side.
to?
To get it, there's two downspouts on each side of the building with a water go to.
But you're adding almost twice the roof area to the downspout.
Right, exactly. But that's, I was just asking in terms of a visual, but you're right, Martha, that's somebody else needs to.
How long is it? You didn't,
I don't know which, are you looking for the width? Or are you looking for
the
the
length,
the length? I can give you, it's about 75 feet.
75 feet.
Yeah,
That's
for that. You know, it goes right along the existing pergola.
by about what, 25 feet?
You mean the width? It depends. You see how it's like,
Triangle.
it's a triangle? Yeah.
Still don't hear a motion.
Well, one quick question, the height of the pitch, I mean, do you have that information with you?
The height of the,
The ridge.
Yeah, the ridge, sorry, at the high
Just to
point
make sure.
above the, because we certainly don't want it to be above whatever they say it is.
Right here?
Yep,
Yeah, I think that's what, 2.5 feet above the pergola. And the pergola is, I think the pergola is 12 feet.
right, the pergola is existing.
Yeah,
but
it probably is
so it's-
existing. Have you seen it? Pergola, it's beautiful. Have you
we
seen
won't-
it?
We won't see it soon.
Yeah.
No, so when you walk inside now,
Yeah,
the goal is for it to be white and there's the blue awning. It's gonna look, you know, beautiful. So we're actually repainting it now.
awning on the seaward side of Ballard's, which is,
Last second, last one.
I was something else. Oh, how old it was. You've got a few more years. Before you hit the 50-year mark.
Who, me or the building?
1986 building that was a replacement of a building that went back to the 1880s. And it has, the awning will be as presented, attached to the back, the structure on to the fix will be connected to the existing curriculum, the existing roof system. The awning itself, will come down in the off season. I think that's it. Anybody wants to add anything? Feel free.
I think you covered it. I would second that.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Me? Oh, two.
Just to clarify, for the coming down in off season, just the awning or the structure?
The awning.
The
Sure
awning.
itself.
The awning.
I'm checking.
Yeah.
For the record.
Just.
They want to take the rest of it down, but I'm pretty sure everybody leaves the,
The bones.
Most do, I just wanted to double check.
Gary leaves it on the bottom.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great night. Thank you. Oh, thank you very much. Okay. I'm gonna call you when it's up, hopefully this spring.
Next item on our agenda is Eric Cook, Plot 6, Lot 86, fire number 462, Chapel Street. And it's replacement windows and trim.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Hello.
My name's Eric Cook, representing 462 Chapel Street. We're looking to put in replacement windows, I think,
Where is that? Where is the building? You don't have a site.
directly across from the Catholic Church. Socha's, yes, Socha's
Next to
980.
Socia? Oh, this is the same like as Socha's? Okay.
This is, they haven't been waiting for this for years.
The, yes, the windows were changed in 1983. I do have pictures on my phone of that and when it was purchased by my grandfather in 1969. I've owned it 8 years, my father before that 24 years, so I have been over at the island 49 years, if you guess how old I am. In the first picture, there's a picture of our windows. You have all these, right? These things. Those are 1/1s. We're trying to have 2/1s put in, just kind of, we look downtown. Our next door neighbor that was owned by Yale Hall, now Dwayne Brown, I think is his name. His are 2/1s. And the new house that he built in back is 2/1s as well. That's showing these next door. And then this one is showing Socha's, which are 2/2s. So we,
You know, these were built as twin cottages.
I do, yep. I do know,
Whose windows do you want to use? What manufacturer?
they're built by Harvey. I think you should have a spec sheet on that.
Yeah,
You didn't?
oh, yeah, this.
Yes, yep.
Well, the thing I see here is the Muntin and the 2/1 are in between the glass. And we want them expressed on the outside on the, and, and also between the glass. So this type of window is not acceptable, especially for such a prominent house like that one.
So what if we were coming and asking to put exactly what's back in there as one over one?
That isn't the issue. The issue is how the windows are designed. They're double panes.
Yes,
Yeah,
So strip in the center to simulate the divided light.
correct.
But the requirement is there also be a strip on the outside of the glass.
So I understand that, but my question to you was, is back in 1983, those are what we call 1/1s. What if we were coming to ask for a 1/1?
that's what's existing. It's 1/1.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. What we were trying to do, there was a couple of things. When those windows were changed in 83, they put in the 1/1s. We thought we'd bring back a little bit of the, I don't know, historic nature of everything that I see downtown. And there's a ton of 2/1 windows there. Also, there was brick mold that was put in 83. And then everything that I look in town and are in the pictures of the neighbors next door is all flat stock trim. So we thought we would bring back the flat stock trim.
All that's good.
That's good.
But the simulated true divided lights are readily available. Other manufacturers.
Yeah,
make-
Anderson makes them, Pella makes them.
Okay,
And I don't know if Harvey makes them, but you need to ask because these are not acceptable.
Pieces on that's fine.
Oh, they do.
I know they make them without pieces inside.
Yeah.
so I'll be totally honest. I do have a gentleman who's in Connecticut, licensed in Rhode Island to do the work. He's the window guy. I own a plumbing company, so I don't know a ton about it. I mean, I do know about windows, but I'm just here, I guess, on behalf of him because I own the building. I wasn't totally aware that they weren't on the outside. So you're looking for something that's on the inside.
They're called simulated. true
it's not-
divided lights.
Right. In other words, there's a strip that goes between the two panes of glass like this has,
Yeah,
but there's also one on the outside
okay.
so that it's not flat on the outside.
It makes it look like it's a true divided light.
Okay,
Right.
so what we're saying here, and I didn't know that, is that this window is not that way.
Right.
Correct.
You can tell
That's-
that by the,
By the spec, right.
you can,
You want 2/2?
To match socials.
in all due respect to all of you, thank you for what you do. The the cost of just even this replacement of this window and in the trim alone is mind blowing to me. It is 4 times what was paid for the house in 1969. I do have pictures. And I do have pictures that do show, and I can show you on the phone. I don't have them in the file because it's kind of last minute when I pulled all these pictures. I was able to dig them out of an attic before I got here. A lot of them, they don't show the total architecture on the top. I did find out that architecture could be added afterwards. They do make things. Again, it's a cost thing for my family more than anything else. You know, we're 30,000 into windows. We're adding another 5,000 for flat casing. Outside of it, you're potentially asking for the whole architecture of that. I can very well be in $50,000 to change windows.
Let's kind of, are you doing all the windows in the house?
Yes, there's 20.
And something like this can be annually.
Correct. That's what I was told
What,
by.
something like what? Oh, the top.
So that architecture of the front door on both of those twin houses is exactly the same that was kept. I do agree that those were pulled off from what I can tell in the pictures. back in 83, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I've always lived here.
Yep.
And it's just been kind of jarring that one, a lot of work was done on one yours, but, it ended up being not looking at the neighbor. The way it was supposed to. I think we all appreciate how insanely expensive things are, and that windows right every place. And we have all these crazy wind standards and,
Mhm.
um,
I guess the hope from us, we thought we were gonna have this approved without coming here, and then I heard there was a little hiccup, and maybe that's what it was. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but my hope was is that we were coming here tonight, being able to try to bring a house back to much closer than what it is now. Otherwise, we just walk away and leave it the way it is with rotting windows in there. I guess that's not my argument, but my argument maybe a little bit with it.
Throughout my family, and, because of course next door has storm windows, which is, you would not, correct?
No,
So we don't want that.
I wouldn't, yeah. Thinking about the storms.
My suggestion would be that you go back and talk to the contractor and see how big a deal it is.
Okay,
And maybe you do.
you
part of the
might be
window-
watching right now.
Maybe you do part of the windows to start with and do some others later on.
Yeah, I'm happy with 2/1, you know, because
Yeah.
your neighbors have that. Except that Socia doesn't. Right. 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 But, you know, we really need to have the Muntin expressed on the outside.
So you want to see that.
Yeah, and Harvey might do that. I don't know Harvey
I
windows
would-
that well.
I would suggest. So.
Okay,
Harvey makes the windows fit the size, right?
they do.
Well, Paradigm does that too, and they're
Yeah.
all. Historic district.
That's right,
Probably
yeah.
This is the same price as Harvey.
Let me just can I write that down?
Yeah.
And, I don't know what's on Paradigm, they're the con, they're
The vendor.
Yes, that comes from Paradigm. They come in like 6 weeks instead of 10 weeks, you know?
And he might have mentioned that. It might have been in there as a choice. I just don't remember.
Well, why don't we table this until you talk to your contractor?
Okay,
And then we'll see you next month. And
so then I would have to come back to the board, right? There's no way to do it virtually or anything if we can show you the spec of we're just trying to be able.
Yeah,
to put
you can, yeah, if you send it to Amanda and, you know, the spec of the window with that, then I don't see, what do you think, guys?
I don't know why we can't.
I don't see why we can't,
Yeah.
because your proposal is to change out your trim with flat stock
Yeah,
which will
to
be
match.
AZAC.
Yeah, that'll be
match,
nice,
the
yeah.
neighbors.
AZAC though.
Okay.
yeah, that's
This-
fine.
This is historical nosing that we're
Yeah,
trying to use
that's
and
fine.
go to flat stock to match the two on the side. I'm leaving on 8.
Why is it?
So if
And
there's,
you're proposing the 2/1s.
so I'm proposing the 2/1 just for line of sight more than anything
AZAC
else.
flat Stock trim without without adding the window hood.
Correct.
On your neighbors. And, you know, I think if you can demonstrate that they're true simulated divided lights.
Okay.
That's the only issue.
Yeah, we can give an approval with that. Somebody, you want to make you want to make the motion?
Yeah, I move that we-
Both prices.
You mean 2/2?
Yeah.
Well,
just for the information.
yeah.
Yeah, you never know how things work, you never know.
With 2/2s,
Yeah.
I know the 2/2s are more expensive than
Yeah.
2/1s, even what we were looking, and more. I guess for us, it was more of a, maybe we were taking away the historic part. A lot of them that I look at they're either 2/1s or 2/2, depending on which direction you're looking. I mean, I can look at building to building to building. It was more for us is that we have a sight line to be able to see down in Old Harbor and. that
Yeah,
little divide.
I have a new house and I have 2/1, because the one gives me more sight.
Correct. So that was the goal.
Mine are 8/8.
Yeah.
Marvin.
Yes, even when the hotel goes back up. Yes, we have line of sight all the way down Chapel Street, right out of the living rooms and the bedrooms upstairs. On the south.
Okay. Do you want to make a motion?
I can't have to write.
I think,
Elizabeth, you
no, I
want?
think Mike started.
Oh, okay.
I move that we approve the application for the property at 462 Chapel Street, fire number 462, as requested, with the stipulation that the windows that are installed are 2/1 simulated true divided lights.
And
The building is in the historic district, built in 1880.
Lot 6, lot 8.
and this is subject to Mr. Farrell,
So,
getting the information to Amanda about the true divided lights.
the casing will be flat stock as proposed at the meeting.
So the stipulation was on there that he needs to send in updated window information.
Yes.
Right. Right. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
So,
That's it.
thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
We appreciate you trying to get it going in the right direction. Have a wonderful life.
Yeah.
You too. Our next item on our agenda is a request from the planning board to consider an ordinance regulating tents and storage containers and other ancillary items that should be used in all zones on the island. I was at the planning board meeting and they, it's a problem, all these tents that are popping up in the not only historic district, but all the commercial areas. So they came up with some language here. And I made some comments, under general prohibitions. The second line, they have the word obnoxious, and obnoxious is very objective. So I said, I don't think that should be in there.
Where is that? Okay.
I don't know. And then under the second item, I have a question about awnings, because that's also a tent, as we discussed tonight.
Is this proposal would be retroactive?
No,
Or-
no,
No,
no, it's moving forward.
Where is, on?
no, it doesn't say. Under item number 2, tents for human habitation. And tents and similar blah, 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 for any commercial or industrial. Tents and similar temporary or mobile facilities used for any commercial or industrial activity. And I'm wondering if tents and awnings,
That was part of the discussion at the planning board meeting is what is
no,
considered.
no.
that got brought up because Chris mentioned it.
Okay. Oh, okay, well,
But that's part of what they're
we've been
talking.
asked to look at
No, I know.
language here, and that's my comment. And then under C, under 223C, trade purposes is provided for in 515. I'm not sure what that.
The 515 is the trade trailer ordinance. So if you flip to the next page, it's right there. Trades trailers. It's the purposes they're allowed for.
Okay, and there on A, I thought they should take out the word, well, it says storage and transport of equipment and supplies related to the building, but it should be building and other trades. It's not
Well, I think
generally,
it's the building trade.
right. It should be building trades, right? But not the building. You know,
Well, I think it's the building trade, I think it's referring to.
yeah,
I
but
think grammatically, I think.
yeah, that has to be clarified.
The building and other trades.
Right.
That's the-
To building and other trades, right?
Yeah,
You just
building.
take out the. Is it? Equipment related to the building. Yeah. Yeah, but it should say it's to building and other trades. Right. Right, but no, this is saying, no, this, yes, you
Grammatically,
do,
it's
because
okay.
it says the, trust me.
I wrote it down. We'll give it to her
Okay.
anyway.
Okay. Or have them just relook at it.
And that's the only comments I had. I don't know if anybody else has any comments on it.
I agree with you. I think there needs to be clarification for seasonal awnings and canopies. Like what is the definition and what is zoning intend for that?
There are a couple
Because-
considerations at the bottom too. I just want to make sure you saw them.
Yeah, tents used for catering operations, weddings, beach and outdoor recreational activities.
But for example, this Ballards that came before, it doesn't fit into any of those.
Well, it's obviously an issue, so it ought to be addressed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I
Yeah.
think that.
No, no, it's not
the
against.
ordinance. And Bimmy has a new sunshade that we approved
Yeah.
earlier this year
Yeah.
over their tanks.
And the state historic department is not in favor of the huge tent that the Spring House has. They said that was only supposed to be temporary.
Well, that's really an awning.
Well, whatever it is. It's,
But
It's like a structure.
doesn't that
Right.
one get taken down too?
Hmm?
Isn't that like Ballards? It gets taken down.
well,
What they requested.
right, but I'm just saying they wanted to make it more permanent and the state said no.
Okay. Do you have any comments about the color or the square feet options that were on the second page? Sorry.
Right.
Awnings are long established before it was painted. Forget valves, just forget valves.
Yeah.
Long before valve was ever there. If you look at the old historic pictures, there were pavilions, there were, I think about, you know, by the, Ocean View in the 1890s. It was the same sort of thing, that sweeping straight roof. There were things downtown, there were things over in the New Harbor. There, the tent at Chandler's. The tent on the hill at Sullivan's. I mean, these are all pre-existing, I suppose, 94, I don't know, they're temporary. But they're pretty nice, at least the one at Chandler, I think the one at Chandler's is really nice. That's subjective, I suppose, but mostly this is.
Well, they're saying about the color shall be painted in a neutral color or a color that blends with surrounding environment. I don't have any objection to that.
The Pony Man. Pony Man, the Spring House. In the early 1900s. Basically, this is all, we all know what this is all about, and, Why nobody was concerned with all of the other things that are going on in this town.
Is there any other?
Yeah, I
comment?
mean, it is a tricky issue because as Martha said, I think we know why this is coming,
Sure.
but
But well,
but
it's
it's
up on the
not-
town council, right?
right, but historically, from time immemorial, there's evidence and precedence of sun covers and on buildings and on building properties. You know, we could all think of egregious, the fences, like the catacorner from the Historical Society that
Right.
shot there.
Right.
Storage container out back on the side of the building.
Yeah. And we're,
But we don't want to back ourselves into a situation where suddenly you can't do anything.
well, you know, where KK Sandals is, they had a truck sitting there with just, and they keep all their equipment in the truck. And so that was another item. It's not just where the hotel is it's with those tents. It's tents in general because it's making things look somewhat ticky-tacky.
Just pop up everywhere.
The,
I personally think once to have, t-shirts hanging from them.
yeah,
We aren't deciding that here, are we?
No, just getting
No.
comments.
Right.
Well, that's a good point, Martha. I mean, is that something, if whatever the definition is, then what about things hanging from these structures?
that's a good point. Good point. Yeah.
But I mean, I think that's an excellent point, Martha.
Yeah, why don't we add that to this, that these catered tents used for blah shall not have things hanging from merchandise.
Create new ordinances, we don't enforce the
Well,
ones
we
we
can't
have.
enforce the ones we have, right?
They do a lot, but people need to complain.
Oh, so, yeah, I got it. So your next door neighbor does something illegal, you gotta complain
Right.
Well,
and create a fight with your next door neighbor.
it's like people complaining about there being a moped on Mansion Road. Okay, let's send 2 policemen down there. Meanwhile, there's somebody in the bar fight over at another named bar somewhere. So let's send some over there. Oh, why aren't there any police downtown? And the boats coming in because they're.
Is there at the beach?
chasing Mopeds down, yeah. It's.
Well, that's not what this is just about commenting on this.
We want to be a town that has 100 people running around giving people tickets all the time. I don't. I want to have a bunch of people going around town and knock it off.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
but for this, I would ask for clarification on seasonal awning canopies.
Yeah.
Within their definitions. And, yeah, I mean, I think
Okay.
as far as we're concerned.
I think,
having
I think we're done with
schlocky
this.
That's okay. Are you guys okay with the color option?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know, I'm just asking because that was one of the comments that got brought up when saying it should be brought to you.
Although if it's part of the fabric, it might be different.
Well,
Chris Anderson was at a preservation fair, said, when I was complaining about something, you just pick your battles. Paint can be redone. But if it's an actual fabric, maybe it's different.
the sign ordinance does have a thing in it about no print on like the umbrellas and things.
yes.
So I mean, that is something that could get put in if you feel like that should be no right.
No, there is something in
Yeah,
here
oh,
that
and-
has that.
I know it's on the side ordinance, so.
Yeah, trade, blah, 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 blah. The business, they can have the business name or their Rhode Island license number for the business. But that's it. Hmm? No, that would be, writing on the tent or the storage. unit. Or sign attached to it. No. Can we move on to, the historic district
fine.
overlay? This came up, because if you go down towards Payne Stock, on the right side of the road is in the historic district, but the left side of the road is not. And the same is true on Beach Avenue, where the Spring House, the DiBiase's just built two rather nice inns. That's not in the historic district, but the police station and the power company are. So the question arose, should both sides of the street be in the historic district? I think yes, especially since we have on the corner of what is that, Legion Way? It's not Legion Way, West Side Road, where when you turn onto West Side Road, that property is currently being talked about for development. And it's not in the historic district, but again, Dead Eyes across the street is in the historic district, and Narragansett is in the.
Where it says mixed, that should be in the.
Well, that's the other side of the street.
When zoning was put in 1960s, we had 3 residential zones, A, B, and C. We had a business zone. And we didn't have plat maps. Plat maps were being worked on. HCC was put in place in the 80s, and it was the entire business zone, which again was all the way from the old part of Union Harbor, and residential C. And I think a lot of residential C, because those were houses that were of a certain period, and also the zoning there was more commercially, it was more mixed use. Because then in 1989, and this is how long I've been complaining about it, when they redid the zone, that's when all these other zones were created. And none of this was ever realigned with the Historic District Commission. There was an attempt in the 90s by the Historic District Commission to make this change, but they went a bridge too far and included the cemetery. And that was the end of that. I was on the council, we were all like, oh, take the cemetery, come back, please stop this. I think we were very fortunate that, gosh, sorry about that. We're very fortunate that, we're very unfortunate that the old, Clark Willis house came down, but, we were lucky that the, DBA's family has a good architect. And I think really did a good job there. That could have gone the other way. The Barrington is, I think, in pretty good shape. It's going to stay there, but the issue of going down, the issue also, there's a little square. This gives you, this is way too much information. I know nobody wants to hear it, but too bad. There's a little black square of a lot that's in the power company. And that really shows you how archaic all of this was. When zoning was originally put in, the line along the west side of the new road from Bridgegate to the to the corner where the police station is, the south side of it was 200 feet back from the road. And then when the plat maps came in, 1980 was the first time they used the plat maps in the tax book. I've written most of this down. That was their line. It was 200 feet or however far back the lot went. But this lot was more than 200 feet back, even though it was incorporated in another lot that now is only part of it apparently is incorporated in the service commercial zone. So that it's this long string of things. And it's not just the place that Arlene mentioned, which I think is really obviously very important. There's this quirky thing over here. I think that's the state garage is why it's not included. And should these other lots be included? Connecticut Avenue is included. I mean, Connecticut Avenue, the lower part of Connecticut Avenue that has I don't think the Beachcomber's in it, or I guess Summerhill now. That might be, I'm not positive, I can't tell from this map. But Kretschmer's house, Moore's, those really classic houses are not in the historic, Wagon Seals is not up here on the corner. Sean across the street did a good job, thankfully, but he's not in historic district either. So I think that's what we really need to look at, what's where and what should be aligned.
Well, that's what the planning board said, that it shouldn't be divided in the middle of the street.
Well, the middle lots.
Right, but you know, I don't know, what is this street? Is this a continuation of Ocean Avenue? Yeah. It shouldn't be,
Figure out why that's named Ocean.
well, it shouldn't be divided right there. You know, it should be both sides of the street should
Not
be.
necessarily. I mean, in general, not necessarily. I mean, most historic communities, they draw the line somewhere. I mean.
I know, but the-
It's one side of the street that ends it.
Right, but the thing is, that street is become an important street for people.
Exactly. I think that's a different
Right.
point. Specific to this street, as you say, near the Narragansett, which is so significant.
Right,
If there's open property that's potentially
That's
going
right.
to be developed,
exactly.
Yeah.
Right,
is it our opportunity to help protect?
yes.
And I think the answer to that is yes.
And what about the, like, Wagon Seal House in the corner?
Well, that's important
Let's
too.
do one-
Yeah,
Agreed.
that's-
Like,
Can't we do one at a time? And get this
Yeah, let's,
done?
just to get the concept of, do we revisit the historic district map and do we want to expand it in any location? And it sounds like maybe the answer to that is yes.
well, what we have to do is recommend it to the planning board. Is what, they want our recommendations. And that would be one area, would be Ocean Avenue where it meets West Side Road, right? Both sides of the street should
And
definitely,
Beach Avenue
and Beach Avenue.
to certain.
Beach Avenue is over here. Oh, okay. Oh, right.
But why can't you start with aligning the
Right.
zones so that
Well,
one part of a lot isn't in, it's in residential B, but it's not in, it's in.
Well,
historic.
it,
It's just a-
well,
That's just a technical thing that makes sense.
the not zoning, the planning board was saying that it shouldn't matter what zone it's in. It's the importance of it as being part of the. And if somebody wants to build on this close to Center Road, you know, the Center Road, they can do what they want pretty much. But I can't imagine one of these huge trophy houses on that corner.
Down in the corner,
Yeah,
well, there's a lot of wetland in there.
Yeah.
well,
Fort Island was an island.
I think. that
no, I'm talking about here.
It should include.
Yeah.
The Mott property and the Barrington and DBS property.
Yeah. That's our recommendation. You have that?
Yeah. I have that, but I don't. know how to.
Just say it, shouldn't, they'll know.
I heard
Yeah,
that.
I know.
Yeah.
Because it's not in the historic.
paid $100,000.
You know why I put that ugly fake
So,
veneer stone on? Cause I could.
Is including Frank's and.
And the,
And the lot property.
and the Mott property. It's not the Mott property anymore.
And also, who's the guy that owns the fishing business?
But that's,
By the bridge,
Oh, Gustafson.
Gustafson, probably.
yeah, basically, if they take this line and just
Yeah.
do that with it, straighten it out. I-
When you make maps like this, why do you not follow the roads? This is just my informative question, I think.
I do not know.
Follow like the road, like why wouldn't you have the district?
No, they didn't, because back when they did it, this all goes back to 1960.
Okay, I'm just curious.
And that's when they just drew these lines arbitrarily. There's
Gotcha.
a coastal zone that I'm not even gonna talk about, because that was.
Okay.
We at one point had 12 zoning maps, and, I remember Nick D. Patrilla said, well, why don't we stick one and burn all the lots?
Yeah,
Okay,
But
I was just
you
curious
want-
if you, I don't,
Holiday
if
Inn.
there was a rhyme or reason. Okay.
Probably.
yeah. Well, I'll go over this with you before you.
Yeah, I'm,
Write it up.
and I'm sure.
And
Ben's-
Martha, do you know why there's these two squares?
Yeah. That's Bill Penn.
Oh,
And that's Sam Burr.
okay. They,
They're both were put into the historic district.
okay,
And the other ones.
okay.
I think all,
What, say again?
I think all the rest. And that's only this piece.
Where?
On Connecticut Avenue.
Oh, you mean wagon seals? Yeah. Yeah, I think that's Connecticut Avenue where it meets Old Town Road. There's some
Yeah,
some
I
really
agree.
nice houses. On both sides of the street.
All of Connecticut Avenue? Or just up to?
Up to Old Town Road. Any other comments?
No.
I think they ought to put the ridge in personally.
What's,
For the,
oh, you mean where Sullivan House is?
all those houses up there.
And Narragansett has separate historic districts.
What's that?
Narragansett has separate historic districts, like that would be, even had Rec Historic District.
Right. All right, I will we'll transmit this to planning. We're supposed to look over. Yeah, I'd like to table review of the pamphlet for another night. Some
Like
hungry.
more cups?
And minutes.
I gave you corrections, right? Yeah. Let's table, send us the corrected minutes and then we can do that next month too. Do you have a motion to adjourn?
A motion. Motion to adjourn.
Oh, I did the dentist this week too.